John, after a historic breakthrough in World Cup qualifying last month, you're here at the Gold Cup, here in Kansas City for now. Just take us inside your thoughts and the thoughts of this group going into a big tournament here.
Looking forward to it. It's nice to be able to go from international football 2 weeks later to more international football. I think that's what we've been relishing. From going a year and a half with next to nothing to then get games more consistently. This team's needed that. And I think as a coach, we love the smell of the grass. We love being on the grass. So just getting that consistency and watching how the players have come back in from that June camp. They've hit the ground running this week. We're really happy with the progress as well as the consistency and how we left off. So it's just brought a little bit of excitement for this tournament.
I have to start with team news. The news today is Alphonso Davies has unfortunately left camp with an injury. What can you tell us about Alphonso and his outlook for the future?
Look, he'll be a big miss. He's off the pitch, he's a good laugh, and I think the lads enjoy his energy and his spirit. And then on the pitch, he's probably 50% of all of our attacking actions, and that's real. That's a statistic you can go and look up. He's that important to this team. But I say this in life, when these moments happen, it's an opportunity for somebody else, and who knows, another Davies character might pop through in this tournament. That's what these tournaments create, opportunities for young men to step forward. So there are a few players here, whether it's the veterans or some of the young guys we've brought in, this could be their tournament. And often when a player like Alphonso is not available, the guys start realising I've got to step up and find that next level of performance. So we'll be giving people permission to do that, that's for sure.
As far as Alphonso, is there any update to his status? Are you expecting this to be a long-term injury, or is there anything you can share as regards his condition?
Yeah, it's early days. He picked up his MRI just yesterday. The medical team at Bayern and here, they've reviewed it, and obviously the best course of action was for him to return home. I mean, the critical part for us is he's got to be ready for September. He's got to be able to get, that pre-season fitness and rhythm. And he's got to be in the right environment to get healthy. The resources at Bayern Munich and obviously the people who understand him best are there. So again, he's a big loss, I think, to the whole tournament, not just Canada. I think fans across all the countries, love to see a player like that. But like I say, hopefully others will step up.
The other major absence on the team sheet is, of course, Jonathan David. Can you just take us inside the decision to allow him to stay in France and what went into that decision?
Well, it was his decision. I think it was a tough decision for him. I think everyone was on a high coming out of the June camp, and as we left, those guys were beat up there. There's no doubt when you play that many games in that short a period, and someone like Jonathan who put the shirt on and started every single match, they were carrying things, and for him, he needed to go back and heal. That was important. Again, I've got one eye, and it's a big eye on September. That's the most important window for this country. And to bring him back into a Gold Cup where he was healing through a tournament wasn't the right decision. So he's been able to go back again to his club, get the right care, get the right return to play plan in place, and from what I'm hearing, he's progressing nicely, so should be ready for us in September.
On a more positive note, Ayo Akinola is here for his first formal camp with the men's national team. Just give us some insight into that process, how Ayo ended up here, and I guess what you expect from him as a player.
It was a long process and a deep process. I think it helped build our relationship through it. I really enjoyed the conversations with him. He's a really reflective sort of character. He takes his thinking to very deep levels as well. He was thinking more, I think he was thinking more about, the decision on Canada is off the field, given him a lot, his family and him in his life here. But the US, from a football perspective, have formed him as a player. So I felt for him. I mean, he was in a really tough situation. He felt he owed a lot to the US in what they'd invested in him as a footballer, and a lot to Canada. And at the end, you know, the patriotism was taken out of the decision. It was, you know, very clear what is best for Ayo Akinola as a performer. And as a high performer, where will you get the best opportunities to be the best Ayo Akinola that you can be? And, you know, I think the simplicity of it came down to a great conversation where he wasn't selected for the US. He was very emotional about that. And I helped reframe it to say, look, let the emotion, you know, seep, because the bottom line is the US have qualified for the majority of these World Cups and probably will again in 2022. And my job for you is to make sure you make the right decisions here. So while your emotions telling you to jump on and sign for Canada now in this moment because you never got selected, you know, you need to see if Canada can qualify for a World Cup first. You need to see that we can prove to you that we can be the right country for you moving forward. And you won't know that until we get through these games. So we pressed pause, we waited, and, you know, I think coming out of that, you know, he was pretty clear. He said that's one of the realest conversations I've had in football for a long time. And I think that just helped build more trust, because I think you realise that, you know, I was here for him, not my agenda. And I think as a coach, that's at the core. You know, you're there for the people that you work with.
Coming back to the Gold Cup more specifically, it's been 21 years since Canada lifted this trophy, our last major trophy on the international scene. Do you see this as a genuine opportunity to win another trophy here?
I think it's an opportunity to keep building this team's mentality, their belief in themselves, to build the tactical identity against tougher opponents and more consistently tougher opponents. Like, you know, Suriname are a tough opponent, and they're going to show in this Gold Cup that they're a difficult team and a talented team. And Haiti, we all know Haiti are not an easy team to play against. So, you know, we've had two tough tests, and it's been a long time coming that we've been tested like that. But this Gold Cup will give us more. And the critical part is, and I've said this to the players, look, we've got, you know, a clear mission in the group stage. There's an opportunity to win that group stage and control your destiny. You know, for us, we've got one of the talented squads here, like player for player. We're up there. We're in that top 4 or 5 teams that can genuinely say they can win this tournament. But experience, that's the gap. And, you know, learning through these moments, being 1-0 down, 2-0 down, you know, how we come back from those moments, you know, how we see out a 2-0 lead, you know, that dreaded half-time 2-0 scoreline going into half-time. How do we manage that now? So I think there's just a lot of good opportunity to, one, look at that group stage, take it game by game, and then learn about that next piece of the tournament. And that's where we slipped up in the last experience. You know, we got ahead of ourselves, I think, and, you know, the 7 days from, you know, the group stage to the quarter-final, it's a tough period of time because guys have already been together for 15 days and now they're getting 7 days to get ready for one game, and they've been preparing like 2 days before. So it's a different rhythm, and that's what we've got to get right. I think if we get that piece right and we get out of the quarter-final game, this team will roll right through into the final, and I've got real confidence that they can make a good account of themselves. And I think they believe if we get on that roll, it's anything's possible.